Hate's a strong word. There's not a lot of things I hate, but being forced to wear a mask is something I hate. Seeing everyone with masks on and having a mask on myself, it felt like dehumanizing. I felt like we were all robots in a sort of sense. Discourse. That's what science is about. It's not about just listening to what a couple of people have to say and taking it as fact. I don't have anything against the masks themselves. What I am against is the ways in which they've been instituted.
Hi, I'm Natalia Marekfer with Restore Childhood, and I'm here with Enrique, who is a student in a Boston school, who has written a really compelling letter to the Boston school superintendent after hearing that the school district was considering a mask mandate. And it's really kind of amazing to have the student voice here because for the past 2.5 years, it's been mostly parents and adults speaking for children on both sides. And so it's refreshing and important and really critical to all of this to have the child's voice, and in this case, extremely well researched and articulate. I'm going to turn it over to Enrique. Please introduce yourself and tell us about yourself, where you go to school, and what prompted you to write this letter.
My name is Enrique Abud Evereteze, and I am a senior, a 17-year-old at Boston Latin Academy. And what prompted me to write this letter was I've seen many articles about like the efficacy of masks and some of the detriments they have on especially younger children and how in a way they're promoting social anxiety. So I think I just wanted to offer my opinion on it and like what I've seen on the matter. And I also wanted to reveal some truths to people about the efficacy of masks, because the reality is they don't stop disease, and that's been known for a while now. And yet in 2020, it seems that the CDC and many other organizations at that have pivoted their political agenda such that masks magically work now, even though they admitted the contrary before 2020.
It's really great to have you be so researched and also just passionate about the subject. How long were you masked when you were in school last year and the previous year, and what was it like?
Last year was until June 13th. So it was from September 8th or 9th to June 13th, the entire year, basically.
And
Yeah.
what was your experience? I mean, were you more open to it at the beginning and grow wary as it went on? Like, can you tell
Yeah.
us what that was like?
Basically, what you just said, that's how I felt about it. I didn't like it at first, but then I just grew to hate it more and more as time went on. And hate's a strong word. There's not a lot of things I hate, but being forced to wear a mask is something I hate. And again, like, it's not like I have anything against masks. I know they're used in medical settings. I know they're used in chemistry labs. I know like they've been around in East Asia for like a century and a half. So I don't have anything against the masks themselves. What I am against is the ways in which they've been instituted, especially in this country.
What did it feel like to have a mask on your face in school all day? And did you notice that your interactions with friends and teachers was different or similar?
Yeah, my interactions with friends and teachers felt different. Like they felt more distant and I don't know, not as social, you could say. And I feel like the fact that like, seeing everyone with masks on and having a mask on myself, it felt like dehumanizing. I felt like we were all robots in a sort of sense.
It really anonymizes people. Sometimes, I mean, I
Exactly.
personally have had the experience where when someone takes the mask off, I don't recognize them anymore. Like it's hard to remember what their face looked like, and it can be a little startling. I don't know if you ever experienced that. So, how did you come upon writing this letter?
What really um pushed me to write this letter was how like we were politicizing science and masking, and that I couldn't really question the science. That's something I really despise, because science historically has been about, asking questions, arguing, well, not arguing, but debating, discussion, discourse. That's what science is about. It's not about just listening to what a couple of people have to say and taking it as fact. That's not what science is about in my. So I was tired of this perversion of science. So that's what pushed me to write this letter.
And did someone help you with the letter, or did you do this all on your own?
I did this on my own.
Wow. And did you share the letter with anyone prior to having, I know it was published, I think yesterday by Tracy Beth Hogue, who's probably one of the top researchers on masks and COVID mitigations in children and an impassioned advocate for kids and science. So what, who helped you? Did you show it to anyone? And did your parents see the letter? What did they think when they saw it?
My dad saw the letter. He was very impressed. He thought it'd be great, and he said he didn't quite agree with everything, but he said, even with that, I'm still his son. He still encouraged me to put this out there and use my voice.
What about friends and other students?
My friends, they're pretty shy when it comes to this. They don't want to see it instituted again, but they're pretty shy to you know talk about their opinions because they're scared like they'll be seen as they'll be portrayed as scapegoats or something. So that's why they didn't really want to say anything. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, I did send my letter to the superintendent and the BPS council.
Have you gotten a response from them directly?
I got a response to BPS helpline. They claimed,
The BPS helpline is the Boston Public Schools helpline.
yeah, they claimed that my message was taken into consideration, and that's what led to the information that we were told today.
What did you hear today that made you feel that you had won or had gotten through?
So BPS said that they were only going to they were expecting us to wear masks, but they weren't actually going to mandate it, which I found interesting because it sounds like they were pushing for a mandate, but they didn't quite get there because there's just too much pushback. So, they had to, I feel like they were satisfying us, but at the same time, they're satisfying I'm sorry to say this, a lot of radical progressives that try to force their views on others.
There was a New Yorker article just the other day about, the case for masking forever and talked about a very extreme left progressive group that started something called the People's CDC, which basically wants to preserve COVID mitigations and, impose mandates on everyone
Right.
for no distinguishable amount of time. I mean, forever. The other thing that really concerns me, and you and I were talking about this a little bit before, is teenagers and how shy they get, and how girls and their skin or their nose, and they kind of go through like this whole period of awakening and self-acceptance and awkwardness, but they have to go through that in order to mature and to feel more comfortable with themselves. And now they're hiding behind masks.
Right.
And we don't know what the impact of that is, but we've certainly seen like that the rise of teenage suicide and attempted suicide, serious mental health issues, kids finding themselves on social media all the time. Do you find that since the pandemic, you've seen an increase in yourself and in others in the use of social media?
Myself, no, because I don't really use social media. The only social media I really use is YouTube. But others, yes, I definitely seen this huge pivot towards TikTok and people's lives being consumed by TikTok. That's all they tend to talk about. TikTok this, TikTok that. They just want to talk about the newest thing they saw on TikTok, and it's just like lockdowns, mandates really contributed to this rise in a lot of social media usage, especially TikTok.
Talk to the kids, young kids, older kids, teenagers, college students all around the country. What do you recommend that they do if they see, these mandates creeping back?
Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. That's my biggest piece of advice, please.
That's great. Critical thinking. So can you read your letter for us? We'd love to have that.
Good day, Superintendent Skipper. My name is Enrique Abud Evereteze, and I am a senior at Boston Latin Academy. I hear that you are considering reinstating a mask mandate across all Boston public schools for 2 weeks after the break. I, as a student, humbly request that you not reinstate this mandate. In addition, I would like to have the chance to speak at the next meeting between you and the Boston Public Health Commission. I completely understand that your concern is to keep schools open and protect students. However, multiple sources suggest that masks do not stop the spread of COVID-19. I am not saying this to sound like a conspiracy theorist. This is the truth, no matter how quote unquote high quality the mask in question is. I have attached a variety of reputable sources to this email to verify my claim. In addition, if people want to wear masks, then I don't have a problem with it. It is their personal choice to do so. However, I think that it would be very unfair to force other people's choices on everyone else. If you and the Boston Public Health Commission are understandably worried about a sharp increase in cases, then I ask that you all consider a few things. First of all, there are plenty of school districts across the nation which haven't had mask mandates for over a year and yet have not seen sharp increases in cases. Second, there's no logical reason for mandating masks for only BPS schools, as it is clear that the K-12 population is at the lowest risk of being affected by COVID. Why should we have to wear masks when massive groups of people can go to Celtics and Bruins games unmasked? Third, despite the fact that there was a mask mandate in effect until mid-June of last school year, many people still contracted the virus, and record numbers of faculty and students were out. Fourth, the idea of children being forced to wear masks, especially in 2023, is frankly dehumanizing. It is also unsanitary when you consider the fact that many people reuse the same mask constantly. In addition, multiple studies have outlined the harms that come with wearing face masks for extended periods of time. Finally, almost 3 years later, we need to consider the fact that natural immunity is prevalent and live with the reality that this virus is here to stay. People can get the COVID vaccine if they want to. That notion has been around for almost 2 years now. Therefore, for these reasons, I calmly ask that you and the Boston Health Committee not reinstate this mandate. The reality is, mask mandates are and never were about protecting young people. I feel that I and the rest of the students have been used as ineffective shields to protect the elderly. That is not what a society based around public health does. Again, I have attached a variety of credible sources below suggesting the notions that masks do not stop the spread of COVID-19. In addition, some of these sources discuss other impacts of mask mandates, including the possible harms of extended mask use and the opinions of parents on mask mandates. With all that said, I hope that you, Superintendent Skipper, and the Boston Public Health Committee reach a rational, logical, and scientifically supported conclusion on this matter. Regards, Enrique.
I'm just blown away, and I really applaud you for being brave and speaking out and being a critical thinker. I think the Boston public school kids are so lucky to have you, and I hope that they really hold off on this mask mandate, and we can use your letter and your voice to help the kids in Camden and Passaic and Philadelphia and all these other areas that have basically said we're reimposing mask mandates after the holiday break, some for 2 weeks, some indefinitely. Your voice really matters.